Hey everyone, welcome back to HRG TV, and in this video we're going to show how to install this Vevor awning right here. This is the larger of the two awnings, and we're going to be mounting it to this Mazda CX-5. Now unfortunately this awning has a lot of one-star reviews, but it is almost exclusively because of the terrible instructions that come with it. Now it does come with everything you need, and some things you don't. These rubber pieces don't seem to fit. And all the hardware is nicely packaged there for you, and it does actually come with, well, what I'm going to call the world's worst instructions. You hopefully won't need those after you see this video, but they are completely worthless. You don't realize how big this awning is until you stretch it out all the way. It's huge. Now I have the smaller version of this installed on my vehicle, and as soon as I put mine on, I realized I should have got this one. The biggest issue I had with the instructions is it doesn't really identify what's what, and there's no markings on the pieces to know what they are. If you've never done one of these before, of course, it would be almost impossible to figure out without a lot of trial and error. So in this case, I'm going to explain a few things to you about what things are and sort of where they go. There's two rails. One of them is the one that rolls out to the end of the awning when it's deployed. The other one stays on the vehicle. So that's where we start, is with that rail. In this awning, it comes in two pieces. And then there's like a C-channel piece that is the whole length of the awning. So basically, the two pieces get joined together with that C-channel rail. It does come with these brackets, but the problem with these brackets is they're made to clamp to a square surface. In other words, a square rail, so that it has leverage to keep it in place. You would not be able to use these on round bars like what is on this roof basket here. Even though we're not going to use these brackets, I figured it'd be worth showing you how to install this awning using them in a conventional way. So all you have to do is slide the hex bolts that comes with it into these little slots right here, and those are actually what attaches the brackets to the mounting plate. So once you get those brackets attached, you can locate them on the vehicle and then tighten them down with the nuts that come with it. So we improvised and decided to just mount it directly to the plates on the roof basket. So I'm using these brackets as a template to figure out where the holes are going to go. And at that point, we just had to drill out a couple of holes on each side to mount that main rail. And again, like I said, the instructions that came with this awning are absolutely terrible. None of it is labeled. It's difficult to figure out what goes where, but we were able to, just by trial and error and process of elimination, figure out that the outer rail is joined up with an L-shaped piece of aluminum. Trouble is, the instructions didn't specify what hardware was used to join them together, so we basically had to sift through all the bolts and try to figure out what went where. Turns out these bigger stainless screws go to the inner rail, which is the part that bolts to the car. So again, by process of elimination, we figured out that there's these little inserts that go into the holes, and then the smallest screws are the ones that actually hold the parts together. So there's 8 of them, and you just put 4 on each side, tighten them up. It didn't come with any tools, surprisingly enough, so you'll have to have the tools to put this on, but Phillips head on one side, hex key on the other side. Just go ahead and tighten them up. Now the inner rail is going to be held together with those larger stainless screws. There are 4 of those that go in towards the middle, and then there's 2 on the outside. Now I want you to stop right here, because we have made a mistake already, and we quickly realized after we put this awning up to the car that the awning cover actually sandwiches in between the mounting plate and the rails. So we had to take it all back apart again. I happen to love gadgets, and this is actually a genius idea. This is a little fold-out step made by Caritech, and it attaches to your door latch in the door jamb and creates this handy little step for you to be able to get up to your roof basket or to load your gear or whatever you need to do to get up onto the top of your vehicle. Very handy. I have one in my vehicle, and I recommend that everybody have one if you have rooftop storage. Now before you bolt it in permanently, it's worth checking the clearance on the rear hatchback. If you're putting this on an SUV like we are, the hatchback comes up and it can hit the awning if you're not careful. So on ours, we had to slide it forward quite a bit to get the hatchback to be able to open up all the way. So definitely important to check that before you go ahead and bolt it all together. So at this point, all you have left to do is to attach the bolts coming out of the mounting rail with these nylock nuts. They will not come loose, and they are stainless steel, which is kind of nice. Now, installing the awning cover is something that probably should have been done before we put the mounting rail on the car, but here we are doing it the hard way. If I were you, I would go ahead and put the awning cover on with everything on the floor and then just mount the entire system up to the car all at once with the mounting bolts. Now, we didn't do it that way, but as you can see here, basically all you would really have to do is line up the holes in the awning cover with the holes on the mounting rail and the holes on the C channel to sandwich it in place. Basically, that's how it's held in place. It's got holes all the way through, and the bolts just slide right through the awning cover and into the mounting plate, and it's not that difficult to do. So you could do it the hard way like we did, but I still, like I said, I recommend doing it while it's off the vehicle. Now, the next step is going to be installing the awning fabric onto the rails. There's a C channel on the top of the rail that the awning fits into, and the awning has a little nub on the end that it will slide into from one end. Now, this is definitely a two-person job, and I would actually argue it might be a little bit easier with it mounted to the car first. So you can see we struggled a little bit, but it wasn't too difficult. One person pushing and one person pulling. Make sure that these Velcro straps are facing down. We actually had to take this thing back out and remount it because I didn't pay attention to that, and we put it in upside down. Now we're going to go ahead and slide the fabric into the outer rail, and as you can see the orientation here, that is the correct orientation. You can put this in upside down, so if you look at how this is shown, that is exactly how it goes in. The instructions, again, do not specify, so there's a lot of trial and error here. We did it for you, so you don't have to, but basically it'll just slide into place, and then you'll simply roll the awning up to store it. Now, it feels sort of upside down when you roll it up this way, but you have to roll it up as shown or it will not actually fit inside the storage bag. And make sure the support legs are oriented properly as well, or it won't fit. One goes above the other, and there's a bolt on either end that has a nut that holds the leg in place so that one fits over the other like so. And if you see how one is screwed all the way to the top, the other one's going to be opposite of that. So check that before you roll it up. But once you get it rolled up, you can see it fits nice and compact, and the zipper cover fits nicely right over top to protect it. And that's pretty much it for this installation. I really have to say this is a higher quality awning than I was expecting, especially for the price. But anyways, guys, I appreciate you watching to the end, and I'll see you in the next video.